Pete Erickson here. Welcome back to Voice Global. Hope you're enjoying the show. My next guest in our Fireside Chat series is Jeanine Heck. Jeanine is the Vice President of AI Products at Comcast. Jeanine, how are you doing?
Hi, Pete. Thank you. I'm doing really well. It's great to be here.
Well, I'll tell you what, I speak to you not only as an industry clearly enthusiast and supporter, but I'm also a Comcast customer. We have the X1 remote and we've been using the voice functionality on it. But I tell you what, I think we're not even scratching the surface of that product. While we get started here, why don't you tell us a little bit about you, your role at Comcast and what you do?
Sure. Yeah, I've been at Comcast for almost 13 years. And I started out in content discovery, really just helping people find something to watch on TV. Back when I joined, there wasn't a search engine that could, find you all the ways to watch a show. So I spent a lot of time on that problem, building normalized databases to, make that possible. And over time, I went from search to recommendations to, a whole host of different content discovery capabilities. And in 2011, when Siri launched, I feel like that was kind of the catalyst for a lot of development in voice. And for us, it definitely got us thinking, like, what should we be doing in the voice space? And it was a natural fit with our team because we already had a lot of NLP, natural language processing experts that were helping us extracting, search terms in our queries already. So we started working on a voice capability. We launched that on a mobile app in 2013, and then in a remote itself that you said you have at home in 2015. And it's been an amazing trajectory from the beginning. It was kind of just a little science project on our team, and now we have tens of millions of voice remotes. And last year we had 12 billion voice commands on our remotes.
Are you kidding me? 12 billion voice commands. Okay. Yeah. So before we take the next step, because I got to get to that, for the people that are watching this interview, because this is a global conference and we've got people tuning in from more than 110 countries, tell us about Comcast, and then we're going to take that next step and go into these 12 billion invocations.
Yeah, sure. So Comcast is a media and technology company. We have a lot of great media properties. We bought NBC almost 10 years ago. We also own Sky now. So we're in Europe, and there's a lot of amazing content that both Sky and NBC Universal bring to the table. And then on the technology side, we're kind of known as a cable company. And we, with cable, we started out with, a TV product, and then we added in phone and internet. And of course, our internet business is our biggest and our fastest growing still, providing internet to millions of customers now worldwide, because we're not just in the US, but also in Europe as well with Sky.
Wow. Okay. Well, I also learned some things already in this call. So, so these 12 billion voice commands, how have things changed in the last 3 months, and what have you seen since this, global crisis, the coronavirus and the lockdown? What kind of behaviors have you seen change relative to the way people are using your product?
Yeah, well, for one, just a big increase in usage. So our time spent on TV has gone up 14% since pre-COVID. And our voice commands have grown even more dramatically, about a 22% increase from before COVID to after. And when we look at March 2020 compared to March 2019, we have a 42% increase. So just a really big increase in engagement overall with the TV product. And of course, like a lot of people have more time at home and are using TV to, fill that time and really to entertain themselves, to bring the family together. So we've seen that growing. We've seen more live TV tunes than we already had. And, that's a big use case for us to begin with, but we've seen even more tunes to news channels like CNN. And, people are really just trying to get information and get connected to what's going on in the world right now.
So a live TV tune is when somebody's changed the channel and of the live TV that you're feeding through your cable.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure I understood that. So I learned recently about your Xfinity Assistant product, that really it's a platform. Tell us a little bit about Xfinity Assistant.
Yes. So Xfinity Assistant is really our answer to digital troubleshooting and support. So it's a way to ask us about your bill, ask us about any repair issues that you might have, or any, concerns you have with your internet speed. You can go there and digitally handle your troubleshooting right there in an app. It has a chatbot like feel, so you feel like you're talking, and there's the powerful natural language processing capabilities that we built into the voice remote are the same ones that we're using there in that chatbot experience. And actually, it's nice for us that we had evolved so much from our early days of voice, because when I first started building the voice commands, we were doing pattern-based natural language processing, and we started to use machine learning probably in about 2014. And fortunately, deep learning came along, and we have a really great capability to understand the intent because of deep learning. Because on Xfinity Assistant, there's a longer way to express your command. You're typing it in on your mobile phone. And so we see a huge variety of ways that people ask for the same intent. This problem on the TV, let me just kind of illustrate what I'm talking about. On the TV, if you're asking to change the channel to CNN, there are 24,000 different ways that people ask to do that. They say, tune into CNN, watch CNN, turn on CNN, CNN please, CNN yo.
I want you to actually go through all 24,000, if you don't mind. I'm just gonna...
Yeah, I could just keep going. But
unbelievable.
So that sounds huge and daunting, and it is. But then when you look at customer care and the ways that people are asking for things like, I don't understand my bill. There are hundreds of thousands of ways. So 116,000 different ways that people ask to look at their bill. And that's, we get a few 100,000 for each of those different ways that they're saying it as well. So, there's a huge volume, but you have to be really good at deep learning NLP to be able to handle the variety of commands, or else you're just really wasting your time.
Right. Wow. That's just the volume of the variance is staggering. That's amazing. So since we've entered into this era, this coronavirus era, how has the team responded, or what they had to do differently since this started? Like, how they how has there been things that you focused on that you weren't focused on before? Like, how's it changed from a team standpoint?
Well, I mean, we definitely had to adjust to meeting on, we use Microsoft Teams, and, meeting virtually was an adjustment. I mean, we do have quite a few offices, so we would have team meetings virtually, but for every single person to be in a different location, it was an adjustment. And we're always trying to innovate and do big things. So we've had to find ways to whiteboard digitally, or, kind of throw ideas out. And even we have a tradition at Comcast that we call Lab Week, where engineers can work on whatever they want for a week, and then they present it in a science fair where you walk around and see their technology. And we did that just a few weeks after it all started. We still had the Lab Week, and we did it virtually with people dropping into virtual rooms. And it worked. I think what is probably so amazing to us is we can work from home, and we can innovate. We had two of our biggest launches with Hulu launching on X1, and Peacock, which is the NBC direct-to-consumer app. Those were huge launches for us, and they happened right on time with all of the quality assurance that we needed to do for the voice commands and all of the capabilities. So I think we're surprising ourselves how much we can keep innovating and keep shipping great software from home.
Wow. Yeah, that's great to hear. I do, this is a period of hyper innovation, and you're seeing it happen before our eyes, especially, just like with what we're doing today, and watching the industry grow by leaps and bounds and change. And,
Absolutely.
there will be some as tragic as this time is, there will be some good things that come from this. Just from an innovation standpoint, the way that we connect, we're in the events business, and so we see this virtual digital connection as vital to the future, not something that's temporary by any stretch. Are there any big surprises for you since this whole thing started? Anything stick out?
I would say that, it's kind of been amazing how we can accelerate our roadmaps. We had these big ambitions to go more digital with customer care this year. And,
Right.
Everybody's doing that. It's not that we're, special in trying to be digital. But some of it felt so daunting and so overwhelming to really go digital. We still have call centers, we have techs who go to people's homes. And what we've seen is that we've really been able to accelerate that roadmap and do more things digitally than we really thought were possible. So it's been quite amazing. And, my team's part in that when it comes to the chatbot and the digital Xfinity Assistant solutions, we've been able to turn around new NLP models much more quickly than we used to. We're retraining because there's just a lot more variety as people are using the digital assistants more. Because our Xfinity Assistant went up 445% in usage since COVID started.
Wow.
So a lot more people trying to get help digitally, and we've been able to meet that demand by constantly adding new intents. We have a lot of editorial capabilities. So, our NLP didn't understand the word COVID, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. So being able to add those capabilities and quickly and turn them around and also, train the models is pretty amazing. And, I think we've learned that we can even move faster than we ever thought.
I think, the COVID mention is interesting. So if I'm on my remote and I push the talk button, I say the word COVID, what's going to show for me is all kinds of programming related to COVID information, and more. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. And, some of my team also works on topic search and kind of extracting out topics from news. So what we do is we take in all of the news clips that, are sent to us, and there's thousands every day. And we're able to find the ones that are about COVID or coronavirus because we're extracting those memes. And so right there, you get the freshest news about coronavirus or COVID that has come in today and is the most relevant and what's trending with users as well.
That's fantastic. I think the thing that has impressed me about this interview and prepping for this interview and interviewing you, I think the scope of your assistant business. I mean, I don't think I realized just really how big that was and how far your reach is. What would you, and just a pro tip for parents. I also learned if you put in education into your remote, it's going to show you all this educational content, and you can do the same thing for science. It's really good because our kids are home and they're consuming much more TV, and we really want to be able to find easily all that content. So little pro tip to the parents out there.
Well, thanks for that.
Sure, absolutely. No, thank you. It's really, really fabulous. So before we wrap up here, what advice would you give to somebody that, is watching this interview that may be new to the industry or they want to break into the industry? I mean, you've watched this industry evolve for the past decade or more, but any advice for people that are maybe new to the industry?
Well, there is still so much more to do. Like you said, we've only kind of hit the tip of the iceberg, even with the voice remote. And, we're very successful there, and, we've got a lot of engagement, but there's always more to do. And I think the way that I would recommend to people, as they're trying to build things with voice, is to think of the problems you're trying to solve. And what I realized early on with voice is that we were solving a real problem. So the example of tuning to a channel, ESPN, if you can't remember that ESPN is 8:47 on your guide, we're solving that problem for you. You don't need to remember anymore. Or if you you can't remember that Working Moms is available on Netflix, like you don't have to remember that. You just say Working Moms. Those kind of problems, when you solve them with voice, that's where you get people attached. That's why we have a daily habit. It's because we're solving problems, not because we're doing cool things that are fun. It's really about, you need voice in your life. And so for me, I think anybody who can come in with ideas and ways to solve real problems for users are going to be able to excel in this industry and do big things.
My guest today has been Jeanine Heck. She's the Vice President of AI Products at Comcast. And this conversation has been really illuminating for me. I hope it has been for you as well. Jeanine, thanks so much for joining us at Voice Global, and I hope you'll come back and join us again.
Thank you, Pete. I really had fun. Appreciate it.
All right, y'all. Let's get back to the program, and we'll see you online.